What's good, y'all? It's your boy, The Shells. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Shells World TV. You know what we haven't done in a while, y'all? We haven't done a Throwback Thursday special. So, if you want to check out the last two Throwback Thursday specials I did, they'll be in the vlogs playlist, and they'll be under the title starting with TBT number, 1 and 2. The first one was about my childhood drawings, and then the second video was about how I used to listen to music when I was a kid, being that I was born in the 80s. So you should probably have a good idea of my age. Anyhow, let's just get to the video. Alright, so yesterday I finally watched a movie that was pretty iconic during the 1970s. What movie is that I'm talking about? Saturday Night Fever. This was the movie that had launched the career of an actor who was just beginning, and that actor, of course, is John Travolta. This film had so many different types of life lessons in it, and I'm gonna run through a few that I remembered, so to speak. One of them being, you should never live your life by the way your family expects you to live your life, because a lot of times you find yourself trying to be on one path, and then everyone else expects you to be on this path, and that's not necessarily the path that you want. And it's very hard for some people to break out of the path that, say, like their parents or just the whole family wanted for them versus what they wanted to do. So they don't get a lot of support for what they're trying to do. Another thing I had realized was that there was this great myth that seemed to sort of be presented, at least through media at the time in the 70s, where supposedly that at least it made it seem like racism was not present anymore, because it's the 70s and segregation had ended. But racism was very alive in New York City at that time. You can see it throughout the film. That was probably a part of the film that almost turned me off from the film completely, but it's an overall good story. If I had to rate the film, though, I would give it, out of 10, I would give the film, let's say, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Saturday Night Fever would definitely get a 7 out of 10. Now, what I also didn't realize was that the lady who played Annette is actually Mrs. Stevens from Even Stevens. If you didn't know that, if you had saw the movie, I'm saying after Even Stevens, you would realize that this is the person playing Annette. That's actually the mom from Even Stevens, which is crazy to me. So anyway, also, so when his character Tony finally wins the trophy for the dance competition, he feels like it was handed to him, like he didn't really earn it, because he felt like the Hispanic couple had actually deserved it more. His friends tried to tell him, oh no, you won it because you were good and whatever. But he just felt like it's an Italian establishment, so of course they're gonna give it to me. But again, the racism was very alive at the time. And I don't think, for what it's worth, I can definitely tell you, we've probably seen this throughout the years with Academy Awards, and yeah, I felt that scene was pretty justified in the way it was done. He gave the money to the Hispanic couple, and he also gave the trophy away to the Hispanic couple, which was pretty crazy. I think that was one of the things, was like humbling yourself was definitely one of the lessons also in the film as well. Now, as far as the friend who impregnated a girl very early, because in the movie they were about 19 or 20 years old, right? So you could say they were fresh out of high school, basically. And he ended up he ended up going to the bridge, which I usually go to like mess around or whatever. The guy ends up falling and killing himself in the water. That was kind of crazy how that happened. But I think he was feeling neglected by Tony. He was so focused on the dancing and everything else that just seemed like he didn't exist. And so I guess the guy was suffering from some kind of anxiety / you could say depression, and ultimately ended up taking suicide, which was, it was dark. It was pretty dark. I think watching that film, right, it really showed, because usually when you're listening to the music, you know, of the 70s music, like the disco music and everything, you're usually thinking about the glitz and the glam and the pop side of the 70s, but this movie had actually shown that there was a lot of grit going on at the time. There was obviously a lot of intensity and violence and things of that nature going on as well in the 70s, and it just goes to show you that just because something seems pretty and glamorous doesn't mean that it's always like that. And that film really showed, I think, a realistic, accurate depiction of how things can be, you know, when you get rid of all the lights and the glam and everything. So yeah, I know I'm rambling and my words are probably out all over the place. I'm tired. I should have done this video much earlier, but had a lot to do. I think I'm getting a cold, y'all. I really hope not, because I just got over a cold and I don't want to get another one. So yeah, it's that time of year though, unfortunately. But I didn't want to make this video too long, okay? But those are the lessons I was talking about that were in the film. Humbling yourself. Don't neglect your friends. That was what I should have said. You know, follow your dreams. Don't always go for what other people want from you. Yeah, those are the lessons I think came from it. And in the movie overall, you know, I don't watch a lot of old films, but this film kept my attention. Somehow it kept my attention. I really got into listening to a lot of 70s music, especially years prior. And the Bee Gees is definitely one of my favorite groups. So I hadn't realized that they actually produced the movie, the movie's music. My bad. And so you could hear Staying Alive, More Than a Woman, How Deep Is Your Love, you know, some of their greatest hits as well. And yeah, it was just an overall pretty good film. I'm not gonna say it was the greatest film I saw, but it was definitely something I would recommend watching. Of course, if you're of age, because the movie's rated R. I don't care what you do in your household. I know I'm not showing that movie to a kid. That's just me. But like I said, I don't want to keep rambling. I don't want to keep the video too long. So yeah, guys. Yeah, like I said, Saturday Night Fever, gave it a 7 out of 10, and it's definitely a movie that I would recommend you watching. This has been my Throwback Thursday special. It's your boy, The Shows. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share, comment, or subscribe. I make new videos for every Thursday, so don't forget to hit that bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And if you're new here, I make reactions, sketches, and vlogs. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and the like app, where I post more videos that I can't show here because of copyright situations. All the links for those will be in the description down below. So if you want to check out my more recent video, click that right there. And if you want to check out the more recent updates to my playlist, click that right there. Alright guys, so it's your boy The Shows, and I will see you guys next time when I upload. Peace!